The Amex Platinum is probably the most prestigious credit card on the US market that is publicly available. You can get it in a floral design, this modern art design, these Van Gogh and Picasso designs. Okay, those last ones were fake, just fan art, but still pretty cool though. And recently they brought out the new mirror card design. But no matter how beautiful the card is, it is the value it provides you with that really counts. And the Amex Platinum does provide a load of credits for various things, but at the same time, it also has an $895 annual fee. So you need those credits to bring you in more than $895 in value just to justify having the card. And ideally, they bring you in a lot more so you're actually making profit. And in this video, I want to show you a load of tricks that I've found to make these credits really work for you. This is how to get maximum value out of the Amex Platinum. So before we start, the first way to get really huge value out of the Amex Platinum is just to be an active duty member of the military. In that case, your annual fee on the Platinum card will be waived and the credits will be pure profit. Now, obviously, no one's going to go and join the military just to get a free Amex Platinum. But for those of you watching that are in the military and are active duty, you may not have realized that you can get this perk. Even spouses of military members can open their own Amex Platinum card and get the fee waived too. There is a Reddit post with a load of info on this that I'll put down in a pinned comment below, and you guys can check it out for yourselves, and it also lists other banks that waive those fees too. But whether you are paying an annual fee or not, it is still advantageous to get maximum value out of the credits. So let's go through each credit, or at least the major ones that I think people will actually use, and show you all of the little tricks that I've learned to make them go further. The Lululemon credit. The Amex Platinum gives you a $300 Lululemon credit per year, split into $75 per quarter. Now, Lululemon is kind of expensive, all right? But it is very comfortable sportswear, and personally, I've been buying their underwear, and I'm on track to replacing my entire underwear collection with Lululemon, since it is just so comfortable. I've also bought pants from Lululemon, and they're great for something that looks formal, but is actually still activewear and is really comfortable. So how do we get the maximum value out of Lululemon? Well, there are two little hacks that I've been using. First one is that before you even go to Lululemon's website, first go to Rakuten.com, click through their site to Lululemon. This currently gives you an extra 2% cashback or 2x Amex points per dollar if you choose Amex points as your rewards currency on your Lululemon purchase. On days like Black Friday or other sales events, the cashback/points rates on Lululemon are often going to be a lot higher, sometimes even like 10 to 15%. If you are new to Rakuten, you can sign up through my link. I'll put it in the description and a pinned comment, and you can actually get $50 after your first purchase at any of the websites on their platform. So by clicking through Rakuten, you still get the refund from Amex for the credit, and you earn either cashback or Amex points from Rakuten. But then after you've clicked through from Rakuten, I strongly suggest looking in the We Made Too Much section on Lululemon's website. This is their discount section where they sell stuff on average about a 30% discount. Both the purchases I showed you earlier were from this section. So that underwear was reduced from $38 to $24, and the pants were reduced from $138 to $99. And I'm getting the credit and the Rakuten points on top of the discount. And if you look for an item that's normally $100, a 30% discount will bring it just within your $75 per quarter credit amount. Now in this section, they don't always have something that you like or have the thing that you want in your size, but you have 3 months to use the credit, and the stock in the We Made Too Much section is constantly changing, so chances are you will find something that you want if you look every few weeks. Now we have a load more credits to go where we can really unlock massive value, like the Resy credit and the hotel credit, which is $600 for the year. So let's move on to those now. But first, we cover financial issues on this channel. And in a survey by the American Psychological Association, 62% of respondents cited money issues as one of their biggest sources of stress. And US credit card debt is now at an all-time high, with interest rates still not going as low as we would like them. And all this has to be having an impact on people's mental health. But whether you're having issues with your finances or some other stress factor in your life, I know that keeping these things inside is the worst thing that you can do. In fact, when I've had similar problems in the past, I've found talking to someone about them really puts things in perspective and helps you maintain a healthy and rational outlook. And that one piece of advice to work on having a rational reaction to stressful things rather than an uncontrolled emotional reaction has really stuck with me. It worked well when I was in debt about 10 years ago, and once I got out of it, great things happened in my life. like this YouTube channel. And that's why I've partnered with BetterHelp, today's sponsor, which is a service that makes starting therapy much easier. You just fill out a short questionnaire and they will match you with one of their over 30,000 licensed therapists in just a couple of days. You can communicate with your therapist over the phone, video, or text, and if they're not the right fit for you, you can always switch therapists at any time. Over 6 million people to date have gotten help through BetterHelp, and the app maintains a 4.8 star rating out of 5 on the App Store. So if you're going through something in life right now, do consider talking to someone about it. Click the link in the description or go to betterhelp.com/benhedges and get 10% off your first month of therapy. The hotel credit. Now, the hotel credit is for $600 per year, $300 from January to June, and $300 from July to December. You can use it at either the Fine Hotels and Resorts Collection or the Hotel Collection. But with the Hotel Collection, you have to stay 2 nights to get the credit or any benefits from that collection too. Now, I'm sure what most people want to do is find a hotel that is under $300 per night or $300 total for a 2-night stay so they can get a free stay through the credit. Or at least find a hotel that doesn't cost too much more than that so that you're getting a meaningful discount on a trip that you wanted to take anyway. There are currently 2 websites that can help you do just that: maxfhr.com and betterfhr.com. Let's take a look at maxfhr.com first. So with maxfhr.com, it is a site that searches both FHR, the Fine Hotels and Resorts Collection, and the Hotel Collection. We normally call it HC, although they seem to call it THC, which I thought was amusing. If you don't get that, your mind is really pure. Good for you. Anyway, you can use this slider on the left-hand side to search for hotels in your price range. So let's set it at around $300, so 1 night is about the same as the credit, and it gives us a load of options. Realistically, most of the cheap options are going to be Vegas, and yep, that is the case. All right, let's choose MGM Grand and click in, and we can choose a date where the rooms are cheap. Okay, April 15th for $55, and it takes me over to the Amex travel portal with my dates already entered in, and by default, it seems to have selected 2 nights. I guess that's because the hotel is in the Hotel Collection, not the Fine Hotels and Resorts Collection, and you have to spend 2 nights there to get the credit and any of the benefits. And in total, it's $239, but you pay the resort fee and the taxes at the property, so I don't think you're going to get refunded for that part of it through the credit, but you're still getting a pretty good deal since you're getting refunded for like half of it, and you're getting 2 nights in Vegas for just over $100. But let's pick another one if we want to use the whole credit, and let's say the Cosmopolitan. We go through the same process, and we get a little over $500 in total, and it's $379 paid through FHR and $124 paid at the property. Now that's going to be a much nicer room than the MGM probably, and the Cosmo is an awesome hotel too. And with that, I would get the full $300 credit and then effectively just be paying the $124, that's like resort fee and taxes, plus the leftover $79 that you didn't get refunded for with the credit. So that ends up being $203 for 2 nights at the Cosmopolitan. I think that's a pretty good deal. On the site, you can also filter by whether you want FHR or THC, the different types of credits and benefits the hotels offer, since they're not all the same, and also by brand. And then you can also search what city you want. But if you want to search a specific date range, you do have to upgrade to Platinum, which is $67 per year. Then with betterfhr.com, the other website, you can actually search both location and date range. Let's look at Dubai. There seem to be a lot of cheap hotels in Dubai right now. I'm not sure why, but let's select April 15th for 1 night. Although bear in mind, if we're booking through the Hotel Collection, not FHR, we do need 2 nights, but you know, just testing. Let's select Atlantis on the Palm. It again takes us to the page for the hotel on Amex Travel, but it doesn't enter the dates for us, so we have to do that ourselves. And 1 night is a bit over $300, but like we said, you would have to book 2 nights since this is a Hotel Collection hotel, not FHR. So don't make the mistake I made at the W Hotel in DC and just book 1 night through the Hotel Collection. You have to book 2 nights to get the credit and any of the benefits that the Hotel Collection provides. Feel free to check out those 2 websites for yourself. I think they both have advantages and disadvantages. I liked how when Max FHR sent me over to Amex, it was the correct dates already entered, but I preferred the map interface on Better FHR and the fact that you could search date ranges without having to pay a membership fee. Another little hack for FHR, and you can only do this at certain times of the year, but let's say you found a hotel that you want for around $300 a night, so you get the full credit for one night in FHR. Let's say that's in May, and let's say right now it's the end of December, right? Well, you could book one night now for May, booking at the end of December, so you pay at the end of December, and then you wait until early January and you book another night in May immediately after the first night you booked. And so in the beginning of January, the credit has already reset. So you actually get a 2-night trip together, technically on different bookings. You just have to tell the hotel that when you check in. You can normally keep the same room, but you actually get refunded the credit for both nights. And that's a little sneaky way to get a 2-night break completely covered by the $600 credit, as long as you can find hotels in FHR, not HC, FHR, around $300 per night. All right, let's move on to our next credit, the Resy credit. The Resy credit is another quarterly credit like the Lululemon one. It's $400 per year and $100 per quarter. Resy Dining is a website where you can book restaurants by searching on the map near you and choosing one you like. You'll also be able to see availability on the site too, so that you don't have to waste time calling the restaurant. And Platinum holders get entered into the Resy Global Dining Access program, so you supposedly get special treatment. It does in theory give you the opportunity to get a reservation even if the restaurant is publicly full, but I think you're only going to notice this at very high-end restaurants in big cities that are often busy, and even then I'm not sure how much of a role this is going to play. I mean, if they leave like 1 or 2 tables for Global Dining Access, there's a lot of Platinum card members, so maybe someone will still get in there before you. But anyway, we're talking about how to get value out of the Resy credit. So if you want it to go further, getting takeout is going to do just that, all right? Since it'll be 15 to 20% cheaper, depending how much you tip, right? You do tip 20%, don't you? Also, if a restaurant sells gift cards, you could buy a $100 gift card as long as it's sold by the restaurant itself. So it codes as a purchase at that restaurant. That will trigger the credit. And then you could combine that with the next quarter's $100 credit to get a $200 meal. And for those of you who have the Platinum and the Gold card, you can split the check as well between those 2 cards, since the Gold has its own Resy credit for $50 every 6 months. So you could split it and get a $150 meal completely covered. Remember also, you do not need to book through Resy. As long as the restaurant is in the Resy program, you will get refunded after using their card there. I discovered that when I dined at the Dinosaur Barbecue in Troy, New York one time. I always go there on the way to going skiing in Vermont. And I came home to discover that I'd used an Amex credit because the restaurant had recently joined Resy. I didn't know about it, but I got refunded $50 on my Gold card. Another little hack with this that might not work anymore, since I haven't tried this in a while, but that's that often purchases through Chowbus will code as a Resy restaurant and trigger the Resy credit for some reason, all right? Chowbus is a point of sale system that many Asian restaurants use. So when the Resy credit first came out on the Gold card, I was getting refunded for buying bubble teas. I would use the self-checkout kiosk powered by Chowbus. I don't know if that was a factor. And I did see also data points of other people getting refunded through this as recently as mid-2025. But the hack might be dead now. I'm not sure. I haven't tried it recently. But anyway, if you're interested, you could go to Chinatown, find a place that uses Chowbus, since it's mostly used by Asian restaurants, and give it a try with a small purchase like a bubble tea and see what happens. All right, let's move on to our next credit, the Uber credit. Now, the Uber credit is $200 per year, $15 each month, and $20 in December. Now, my main tip with this is that if you don't take Uber regularly, since you have your own car, which is the case with most people who live in either the suburbs or small towns, then use it for Uber Eats. It's given to you as Uber Cash in your Uber account each month, so it can be used for any Uber service. You can make the credit go further by choosing restaurants that allow pickup instead of just delivery, so that you don't have to pay a delivery fee or tip the driver. But the Amex Platinum also gives you a $120 credit for Uber One membership as well. So make sure you sign up for that too, since this will give you $0 delivery fee at many restaurants, 6% back on Uber rides, and 10% off certain Uber Eats orders. So in other words, getting Uber One, which is free with the card, will make the Uber credit go further. All right, next credit, the airline fee credit. Now, this is one that always causes a lot of discussion because it is supposed to be for incidental fees like seat upgrades, lounge day passes, buying food on the plane with your selected airline from this list. I won't read them all out, but they're on screen now for you to see. Now, even though it is supposed to be for incidental fees, using this for actual flights is a lot more useful, okay? Because many people have airline status anyway, they don't need to pay bag fees, they've already got lounge access, etc. So there have been some little workarounds that people have used so that you can actually use it for flights. But this year, one major little trick that people used to use stopped working, and that was the United Travel Bank method. You used to be able to buy $100 worth of Travel Bank cash and get refunded through the credit. You could then save up this cash to buy a flight later on. But this is no more. So how can we still get value out of the airline fee credit? Well, you could use it for things that Amex officially allows you to use it for, all right? Duh, kind of simple. I've used it for guest passes for the Delta Sky Club for my wife and kids, since the Amex Platinum gives you access, but you still have to pay for guests. But if you do still want to try and use it for actual flights, there are a couple of ways that may still work. One is just buying flights priced under $100 on Southwest, okay? Obviously with Southwest selected as your airline. Southwest does often have some very cheap fares. You can see right now they have a sale with flights from $59 to $129 one way. So obviously if you want a round trip, you're gonna have to book 2 one-ways instead of 1 round trip. And if each of those is under $100, you should get refunded on both. Another method is the Delta gift card method. So you first buy a Delta gift card, you won't get refunded for this, but if you then buy a flight with that gift card and pay what is left over with the Platinum, the extra amount that you have to pay, as long as it's under $200, often codes as an airline fee and it triggers the credit. If it doesn't, you can also try talking to the Amex chat reps and saying it's an airline fee, and they may get you the credit for it. You might have to try a few times with a few different reps. I was watching a video by a guy called Philip Pack, and he did just that.
What did work for me was just simply talking to the Amex chat feature and be like, hey, this is actually an airline fee. Can I get it reimbursed? And they did.
I haven't tried it myself, so do use caution. And these two methods in general are not as easy or convenient as the United Travel Bank. So I would say it's best if you can find a way to use it for one of the actual legitimate uses, like upgrades, bag fees, food on board, lounge access, etc. All right, let's move on to our next credit, and that is the $300 digital entertainment credit. Now this credit is $25 per month. They actually increased it halfway through last year, and it gets you a refund for subscriptions to all of these media services. YouTube Premium is a great one to use it for. Then you can watch my videos without any annoying ads. I personally have YouTube Premium, the Wall Street Journal, and the New York Times, and Disney Plus from this list. One great thing you can do with the newspaper ones in particular, like the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, is that they often have a deal for new subscribers where it's ridiculously cheap, like $4 a month. Or if you threaten to cancel, they will often put you on a new subscriber deal for another year. So it's really worth going through that effort to get those discounts, since it makes this credit go much further and cover several subscriptions instead of just one. And just a note, don't use it for Paramount Plus, because if you sign up for Walmart Plus, which you get a monthly credit for with the Amex Platinum, so it's completely covered, you get Paramount Plus for free as part of that anyway. And then you can go watch Starfleet Academy. Just kidding. It's a terrible show. All right, one more credit. The Equinox credit. This is for Equinox gyms, and this one is really dependent on location, i.e. are you near an Equinox location, and also whether you want to be an Equinox member in the first place, which is typically going to be a lot more expensive than the credit. So the credit won't cover the whole thing, it'll just give you a discount. So you do actually have to be committed to it and have an Equinox gym near you. But if you just want to get some value out of this, you can actually use it for their digital subscription, which is exactly $300 per year. You can see here, I paid $300 and I got refunded. I've never actually taken a class through their app, but you know, it could be useful. Maybe I should take their best butt ever class. Perhaps the low body stretching, all right? I do a lot of skiing in the winter. I work my legs hard. I could do with some stretching. Maybe that would be good. All right, guys, that is most of the credits on the Amex Platinum. There are a few more like the Aura Ring credit, and I see that as kind of too niche to really talk about. It's only going to benefit some people, but if you're interested in that, then you're probably going to be looking into it anyway. Maybe you can buy the ring and then sell it. I don't know. But if you do know a way to get value out of it, leave a comment below. Or if you have any other tips and tricks for getting value out of the Amex Platinum's credits, leave those comments below too. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to take a look at today's sponsor, BetterHelp, in the comments below, or go to betterhelp.com/BenHedges and get 10% off your first month of therapy. Please subscribe if you're new. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.